Welcome and Happy New Year. It's Monday, January 4th. We're at the Human Services Committee meeting. We have a quorum. Is there approval for the meeting minutes from November 2nd, 2015?
Second.
Okay, we have one quick correction. It's item 2, approval of the meeting minutes for not May 4th, but corrected to 10/5/15. So we can move with the edits. Someone can make a motion? So, thank you. It's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, perfect. Let's keep on moving. Items for consideration, HH1, Commander. Ooh, citizen comments. Yeah, we can do that. Commander, can you, I'm sorry, spent too many days off. We have citizen comments. The first person is Miss Esther. Give you my minutes. How many minutes? 3?
Good evening and Happy New Year to all of you. I didn't read any of the complaints, so I don't have anything to say about any of the complaints that was submitted. But what I want to talk about deals with the police department, so hey, talk with it at H1. If you remember back in 2008, there was a committee that met and people formulated, and you wind up with the Citizen Police Advisory Committee. I think that's the right name. And in that, and they said, okay, where there was a representative from each ward to sit on that committee. If you remember when you voted, that it says also that that the people that was working on that resolution or that committee was working towards getting an independent police review board. I'm here to say that we have drafted a proposal that we will hopefully be finalized by June and have, I'm sorry for that. By June of this year. Okay, let me turn this down. One of the grandkids, so they'll call back. So we didn't stop working on it. We kept working on it. We have met with different individuals in different sections of the community, in different fields and so forth. So we will be coming back with you to it that sometime in June of 2016 to discuss that. In that regard, the other thing I wanted to talk about was that this is the time that we all make
Miss Esther, a quick question from Alderman Holmes.
Oh,
Just some clarification. So the committee's coming back with a recommendation in June for
independent citizen, an independent police review board.
okay.
Y'all voted say that y'all will look at it in 2008.
Oh no, I'm just asking is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And that's what we've been working on, and we thank those that responded back to us with questions and stuff, and with all of the information that we asked for to help formulate this. The other thing is that in this time of the year, we making resolutions and everything, and we resolve to do this and we resolve to do that. It is my wish that here in the city of Evanston and that the council members and your fellow other council members would resolve to take the leadership in respecting people when they come to these meetings or talk to you or ask for things, that they be treated with respect. I have observed many incidents where that hasn't happened, and it mostly happened to people of color. And in a day and age when we say that, oh, this is diverse and we're colorblind and what, I don't know what that means anymore. I went to a meeting about, it said Black Lives Matter. And when they got there and they was talking, they did not deal with the issue that the people that started this was dealing with, which was the killing of innocent human beings whose skin happened to be dark. That was not addressed, was not even talked about. And then they want to deal with race. We are one race. We are the human race. Until that is accepted and respected by everyone, that we are human beings and we are all one race, then we can start seeing some change. We paid thousands of dollars for people to come into this community to give report. And I'm sitting there at a meeting and I'm watching them disrespect the only two people on this council that looks like me. And they are being disrespected, and I'm like, blatant. But nobody said anything, and it just went on by the wayside. We come here and we say, well, we want to address this or this and to have comments and stuff. And they say, okay, we will do it. Well, you don't do it. To me, that's just lying to me and saying you'll do it when you won't do it. So if you're not going to do it, say I won't do it. The Citizen Network of Protection in November met with the city manager and chief editing. In a community where you're saying you want to have a better relationship and better communication with the police department and the people in the community. We sit down, we talk about, okay, you're spending our money to do these things, but we are not included in it. If you're going to be talking about diverse in how communication should or should not be done, we, the people, need to be involved in those communication and in those meetings and conversation. So it was told that, well, we was going to have one, and then it's going to be here, and this have a whole laid out plan as to what was going to be happening with the next training, diversity training that the police have, which we are now paying a total of $50,000 to Dr. Logan to do that with the police. And at the last time that had happened with Professor Thomas out of Kentucky, and the community said, we want to be part of it. Because what you did was okay, and they talked about their feelings and stuff, but you did not. We did not. We could come in, we sat there, we was spectators and not participants. That happened at the ecology center. The professor came to that. We were spectators, not participants. And there was a lot of things people wanted to say to might have furthered that conversation, that might have changed the culture and the way the community sees, and maybe increase our avenue of respect. But not getting that and not following through on things is saying that you do not respect our wishes, our concerns, or nothing. I've seen where people came here and with the parks and stuff in the community say, we can do this, we can do that. And yeah, they did. The community finally, with the parks, finally did step in and got what they want. But it was after the city had spent thousands of dollars to a consultant. What was wrong in accepting what the community has to say? What we have to say is value. If you say it's not, then why do you look for us to tell you anything that you're doing wrong or that the police is doing wrong, because you don't accept our word, you don't expect us to know anything. But when we tell you something, say this is what we need to do, this is good, this is what should happen, you said no, this is not what should happen. In 2005, there was a neighborhood plan that community sat down and worked on for over 18 months. And what came out of that, well, we have this great West Side master plan, which was, and people still call it a master plan. It wasn't a master plan, it was a zoning change. And nobody wants to admit, but he's not here. He was leaving, and then he got up and told the people, well, this is a zoning change, and because of this zoning change, we don't have to notify you when something happened, when somebody want to build something. That is not the way we want to be treated going forward in 2016. There was supposed to be this month a meeting with Dr. Logan, and he's supposed to have gotten information back from the community to help him formulate how his program is going to look going forward. And he was supposed to be giving you a report in April. I don't know when that's going to happen now. I asked, I haven't received. What we was told that it was supposed to happen this January, and he would be here giving you a report in May.
Ms. Esther, I may have to ask you to
So-
wrap it up.
I am.
Thank you, dear.
So, there need to be some changes. There need to be, one, you need to respect the people. When questions are asked, honestly look into them and either give them a written report of what you find out. Because people looking at this here TV at home now, looking at this, and they would hear, well, so-and-so asked for this. Well, what happened? Did she get it? No answer is never coming forth from you. That cannot happen anymore. It should not happen anymore, and you should not allow it. You just had your rules committee, and hopefully in that, in your next month, you will look at, says, how are we really truly living up to being respectful to the citizens of Evanston? Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Ms. Decree.
Good evening, everyone. Madeline Ducree here. I just want to take a moment to pass this around. Just to look at it. Don't read it all.
Thank you.
Okay, the thing I want to talk about tonight is a few things. I want to ask about, or maybe make some statements about the housing situation with the, I call it the hit list. Maybe it's the hot list. I don't know. I would like to know, as a citizen of Evanston, what is happening with this event that's going on, because I'm seeing that there's many things going on still in the streets with the people with the housing. I still don't agree the way this was handled, because I'm seeing and hearing that a lot of children, a lot of families were broken up, and not necessarily from the people who hung in front of the houses and who ran down the streets with guns. And let's not make any mistake here that Madeline Dupree do not believe in guns, anyone packing them, whether they're in their house using them the wrong way or outside, or no matter how they get them. Now, from what I can read, some of the stuff in the papers, that the United States Congress going to be coming up trying to figure out how to handle the immigration department, abortion, guns, several other things. I would like to know what the Human Services Committee is doing in Evanston about abortion, family planning. I started to bring some statistics here concerning
On that question.
black people, colored people here in this country, but I was getting too upset. So I changed my mind about that for tonight. And when I heard that the income, today I was listening on the radio, the income in Chicago in the last 20 years, 52% white haven't been increased. I don't want to lie or make a mistake on this. Hold on. Hispanic is 15% increase. And black folks is 13%. Every statistic, every touch of everything I come across, the black people, the colored people, is down here. Even the Hispanic people is up here now. Even in District 65, which I told them back in the 70s and 80s with that paper that's going around. Same thing pretty much happening right to this day. It irks me, it hurts me. How much have we progressed, people? It's like a replay, flashback. These young men I saw in there, they're in their 50s now. 50s. So you can imagine how old I am right now, and I'm still going through the same thing. Drugs. I keep mentioning drugs. It's tearing up our families here, not only in Evanston. Have the Human Services Committee sort of peeked into that situation to see what way we can help here in Evanston? Have we? You know, it's going to cost us some money. Doggone right, but it's costing us money now, right? Our children. So what are we going to do about it? I mentioned with the cancellation of all the committees with Human Services 4 or 5 times. I mean, everybody is feeling great. Everything is going on 100% with the Human Services. I don't think so here in Evanston. I really don't think so. Even white folks, okay, is hurting. We are hurting as a people here. And the governor, I don't care if he is a millionaire. He is hurting us. Resources is down the tubes. I was looking at the paper with Owen Thomas. I mean, we had resources here, folks, and we're putting people, families out of Evanston. I look at my neighborhood, and I don't know my neighborhood anymore. I don't hate nobody, but I'm just like any other people in this country. You all want to say white folks? I don't care. Anybody who with money, that's the way I look at it. You have a choice. You have choices. People who need help, where are they going? We're pushing out a lot of minority people right here in Evanston. And there's a reason, I keep saying it, there's a reason why these young people are behaving. I could see it coming when they were in that school, but before they reached that age. I went to these schools, District 65, and went in there. When they didn't have a bell you had to ring to go in. I listened outside. So nobody don't tell me that everything was great back then, okay? Integration has its pluses. But believe me, folks, there's a lot of negatives going on. Now, let me wrap this up with the police department. And everyone know, pretty much everyone know, that I'm always talking about the police. And I'm going to keep on talking about the police and see that they're doing the right thing as long as I have breath in this body, okay? That's the way it is with me. I came from the deep south, folks. I didn't come raised here in Evanston or up north where people played games with your mind, okay? It was you do or you don't down there. Now, my family protected me, but I see a lot of stuff happening now. And let me also say something about the parents of the children. And if some of them is looking, please get up off your butts, okay? Please. My children call me mean. I don't care. We have to control our young children, okay? We have to. I want to say some more, but no, let me just say this. Complaints. Now, I hear people talking about the police complaints. There's no complaints. Maybe 1, maybe 2 years ago, I heard it was only 1 or 2. People, it's getting tired. They're scared. They're still scared. We worked hard trying to get it to work with Chief Editon so that people can feel relaxed and come in and say things. I also get on that little thing what you see, Evanston Police Report. The majority of the ones I see is harassment. Anybody look at them beside me? I think so. More than harassment, either disobedient or some kind of thing they're talking about. But I'm going to leave that alone. But I would like to know, before I leave tonight, so Human Services is going to do something about the drug problem here. The drugs, not only the guns coming into our community, but the drugs. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, before we move on to the items for consideration, and Commander, if you want to start walking to the podium, I just want to address a couple of things. First of all, Miss Esther, and Commander, I may ask you to give us a quick little update. The police contract that you referenced is actually a 3-year contract, and we're just a couple of weeks into it. And if I remember correctly, and Alderman Holmes, please correct me, a large part of that will be the community engagement. So I have not committed to memory what the timeline is, but within the 3 years, this is a multi-year contract. There will be opportunities for the community to get engaged. And Mr. Cree, you brought up a number of items, which if I was to categorize them under one department, a lot of the issues that you brought up used to be handled by our township services that have now been transferred to Director Vonda Smith through our Health and Human Services. So the family planning and the other things that you mentioned, I might recommend that you schedule an appointment with Director Thomas Smith just to answer your immediate questions. And if there's anything else that you have, we can always schedule it for the agenda. Hold on one moment. I had shared before the issues that you brought up from the October meeting, the 1817 property, as well as the reference regarding the drug services. We do have an internal memo on that. I would like to wait until February so that the information will be placed on the agenda, and then we will discuss it then. All right? So I'm not sure if I covered everything, but again, I'm going to make sure that after the meeting that we schedule a meeting with the director to at least provide the information that you requested from the podium. Fair enough? All right. We're going to...
I need to correct something, because what you just said about the contract, I wasn't talking about the contract. What I said was a meeting, was steps that was supposed to be taking place with this contract. If you heard me, the January meeting that was supposed to happen today in January was for him to collect information from the community, and then he's supposed to put it and concise it with information that he has already collected from the police department that he's been meeting with these past couple of months, and then write it all up and everything and bring it to you in April and says, this is what it will be like going forward, and which will involve the community and everything. That is what I said. So I know about the 3-year contract. So, like you said, you don't know when the timeline will happen and everything. I'm sorry that you don't know, but we talked to the people that we thought we could get an answer from. And what we got was a call. I got a call from Mrs. Davis, and in talking to her, she was like confused? And I said, no, Ms. Davis, you're not. I will take it back and go back to the commission, the chief and the city manager, and explain to them. They delegated it to somebody and did not explain to her everything that should have been explained to her that we discussed in that meeting, and that was disrespectful to her.
Okay, so here's what I would ask. Commander, I know we're getting ready to deal with item HH1. I don't know if you want to respond, and then if anything, we can follow up with Ms. Bestert.
Commander Davidson.
Yes. Thank you, Alderman Holmes.
I'm sorry, I just need some clarification.
Yes, go ahead.
Because I am thoroughly confused.
Okay.
And Ms. Esther, that even confused me even more. So could you come back just for a minute? Because are you saying something that came to this committee, and we were supposed to have had a report back in January? And this January, because if this is all new to me, I've not heard it before. That's what I'm.
No, not January, April.
So,
In January, there was supposed to be a meeting.
But wait a
that
minute,
would- Dr.
where was this meeting, this other meeting, that all of this came from? That's all I'm asking.
November the 24th, up in the city manager conference room with Chief Addington and the city manager.
But that was with somebody else. That was not with any of us. I just want to be real clear about that. At least it certainly wasn't with me.
No, I said with the chief and the city manager, we met.
But
in
who is
November.
we? I guess that's what I'm trying to
Oh,
figure
you
out.
want to know who the we are?
Right, because who is who is the city manager and the police department, the chief being responsive to?
To two citizens. I was one of them, and Carla Sutton was the other one. And the reason that we came to that was because of the Citizen Network of Protection, and we was working. And so when Dr. Logan was awarded that contract, we reminded the chief and the city manager, and I don't know who else we remind, that when it happened back in either 13 or 14, I don't remember, with the gentleman from Kentucky.
Right.
That the community wanted to be involved. If you're talking about creating an atmosphere of communication and have open dialogue and build a better relationship and a better avenue of communication, that doesn't happen when you're just talking to one side and leave out the other one. So both of us has to be part of that. Dr. Logan agreed. Everybody in that realm of trying to do inter-dialogue and stuff
Thank you.
agree.
thank you.
I hear that, and I guess what I'm saying is that I know what this is part of the police training, and I do remember when Dr. Thomas was here from Kentucky, and there was an opportunity for some citizens to come and listen in, and you're absolutely right. It was not as participants, but as observers, because that was what was agreed upon. And in terms of Dr. Logan and this training, I mean, the training is unique, and we'll get updates, for that. But I'm hearing you. What I'm hearing says to me that there was and when I don't mean private in that respect, but citizens went to staff, in other words, to ask for some other kind of input. And you're bringing it to the committee now to ask us to have them to be accountable. I just need to understand. That's all I'm trying to.
When Dr. Thomas from Kentucky was here, we said the next time that this happened, we wanted to be a part of it. When they had a town hall meeting down at Robert Crown, and he was there, and we said, no, this is not what we're talking about. He talked at this table and not that table. We wanted everybody need to have their voices heard and say what they need to say and try to come up with some kind of working solution. So, and the chief said, yeah, I hear you. Well, we can do that. That's no problem. That's something that we can look at and we're going to do. So
Yep.
when they came with that, we said, okay, what is the community going to be? Well, we will contact the community and get their input. And we just reminded him, no, we are not talking about doing a community survey. When you say, I want their input, you're doing a survey that you send out or click on the internet and put in that information. That wasn't what we was asking for. We wanted to be part of the dialogue to help shape and make sure that going forth, there are changes in things that happen. What Madeline had referenced in terms of the harassment here and the communications and everything with the police department, it need to be a change. We talk about we are outstanding and we stand up and we are so this and we have this and people are looking at us. So if we're going to be this community where people look at us and take what we do, then we need to be pushing that button and making sure it happens.
Thank you. So, I just wanted to make a couple of quick points before we move on to HH1. So again, as she discussed, we've had a number of discussions about this police contract. It's been before us at Human Services. It's been discussed at your Fifth Ward meeting, and it is a 3-year, multi-year contract where we will pay very close attention to the public feedback. So I just want to make that strong point. Commander, do you want to? I don't know if you want to respond to that and just. Or if I will give you the out to say we can always come back and deal with it in February as well. But if you'd like to respond, please feel free.
Yeah, real quick. Good evening, committee. Good evening, committee chair. I did have a conversation with Ms. Esther and the police department in an attempt to accommodate what she believed was to take place in January. We actually offered. I says, well, since you believe that this meeting is going to take place with Dr. Logan, we're poised to have a meeting with you and your Citizens of Protection group. She wanted to meet during the month of January, and I told her we would make that accommodation. However, once she and I spoke, and she explained to me that the meeting that she wanted to be a part of was the big global meeting when Dr. Logan includes the community. She was saying that no, Commander Davis, I don't need a special meeting with him for my group. But because I wanted to accommodate her, we was more than willing to say, give me a date, I'll bring Dr. Logan there, I'll bring 2 other representatives from the police department, and we will meet with you to accommodate your requests. And that's when she explained, no, I don't need a special meeting, I just want to make sure that I am included when Dr. Logan does do his community meeting. Is that pretty much, is that correct, Ms. Esther?
Halfway.
Pardon me?
Halfway.
Oh, okay. Well, we're halfway there.
Okay.
And perhaps we can deal with the other half in February.
Okay, thank you very much, Commander. Do you have a?
Yes, you done with me? I wanted
No,
to introduce
please.
Sergeant Wright. Sergeant Wright, if you could please step up. A while back, Sergeant Secludi was promoted to the rank of commander, and she's taken over a position in patrol. Her position was vacant, and Sergeant Wright is now going to take that position. Sergeant Wright is to my right here. He's going to be the sergeant in the Office of Professional Standards, and he will be taking over Sergeant Secludi's position. So I wanted to introduce him to this committee.
Thank you, Commander. Sergeant Wright, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. It's good to see some of you guys again, and nice to meet some of you all officially for the first time.
Thank you. All right. I'm assuming there are no questions. Are there questions for HH1? Alderman Miller?
Request, Commander, real quick. Sorry, just looking at the daily arrest reports over the past couple of months, we've had a number of arrests for, and it's kind of unclear, and this is what I'd like some clarification on. If you could just bring this to the next meeting, that's
Okay.
fine. So in regards to arrests for cannabis, I mean, there's a number of, so I mean, our ordinance has basically possession of cannabis under 10 ounces is supposed to be citation. So there's a number of arrests here, and it's just unclear about what they're being arrested for, in a sense. It says some are cannabis ordinance, some are possession of cannabis. There's, I understand there's manufacturing, distribution for 30 grams or less, et cetera. I'm just wondering kind of like, are we actually enforcing the ordinance in terms of citations? Are we actually doing arrests on it? If you could provide that information for next month, that'd be great.
Not a problem. I'll bring
Thanks.
that to you.
Appreciate it, Commander.
Got it. Thank you. HH2, there's a, oh, yeah. Do we need a motion to accept the report? We don't. All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All right. We'll move on to item HH2, Resolution 19R15, authorizing the city manager to enter in a 2-year, 10 and 12-month lease agreement with studio spaces at Noise Cultural Arts Center. It's for action. Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All right. Next item, HH3, Resolution 120R15, authorizing the city manager to enter into, just a quick change, it's going to be a 2-year, 12-month renewal lease agreement, 22, pardon me. Is everyone clear on the change? It's at a 24, it's 22. 12-month renewal lease agreements for studio spaces at Noise Cultural Arts Center. That's also for action. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, motion passes. Item HH4, Resolution 121R15, authorizing city manager to enter into a 5-month lease agreement with a 4-month lease agreement with the Evanston Children's Choir for studio spaces at Noise Cultural Arts Center. That's also for action.
Move approval.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, perfect. Item 4, are there any items for discussion? Seeing none, any items for communication? Seeing none, is there a move for motion to adjourn? All right, our meeting's adjourned. Thank you all very much. Good night.